This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, let's start the session. So last session I have discussed about the scope commands, and continuation to that OOZIE we have started. There is some issue with the Hadoop web integration wise. We struck there. I'll be continue from there. Okay, my Hadoop is running. So OOZIE start command, when we do this, my server is running. Give me a second, I'm opening browser. So localhost 11,000 is the port for the OOZIE. If we see the JPS, this process is killing. So there is a log4j issue is there here. So how to resolve this one is inside the OOZIE embedded server web app webinf lib. Here we have some log4j jars are there. That's exactly creating a problem. If you scroll down, so this is the only expected jar. Remaining all these jars, these are the jars are not required now. So if you delete these jars and start the server, then it is not going to kill that one. This is the issue in this version right now. So just delete it. Then after that, start once again. You won't get this message now. Previously we used to get these messages now. Now you won't get that message. And if you refresh the browser, still it is running now. Okay, so now it is up. So when this will be up, like what? If you look for JPS, if this process is there, if the process is there, then only we can able to access this URL now. So that is the issue in this specific version wise integration now. Make sure that remember like what inside this OOZIE web embedded OOZIE server web app WebNF lib folder, after log4j, whatever the other log4j jars are there, just delete those. After that, like what, just start your server, it will be going to up. So once it is up, the next thing is like what we need to take care of. updating this list, updating this command and this command. Now let me execute this command. This will update the repository. So once it is updated with the list, we can able to verify it like what are the share libs are available right now to work with OOZIE. So now the OOZIE having a share lib of all these things. These are the folders like what under share lib folder we have it now. So now these are available. Without updating this list won't be available. To make it work this command, our OOZIE has to run. The last class like what why I was not able to execute these two commands is because OOZIE server itself is down due to like what log4j issue. So now we resolve that issue and we are able to continue. So this is what exactly what I want to convey from like what last session missing point. Now installation wise we are done. Now practicals, let's start on that. Coming to this practicals also, you no need to do much from the one what we are doing it. We will be having a alternative approach is there, that is HUE, HUE. As part of the cloud era distribution explanation, I'll be going to talk about now. Most of the stuff today, what I'm showing it like what, that is manual approach. Instead of doing manual approach, we have a drag and drop approach is there. That is not going to come with the directly. There is a third party tool we have to install now. So once we install that, it is going to, right now in our environment, that's not possible now. That's the reason we are not installing. I'll be going to show you end of the session like what we have a distributions in real time, how people are going to use the environment. Okay, so our environment is the very low configuration, but to configure that I need at least like what 16 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM like that. So I have my system is at 16 GB RAM. With that RAM I can able to showcase some extent, because it's not enough, but at least to understand like what something else, what exactly we need to focus. Development wise, whatever we are doing 100% correct. Okay, so only thing is like what some extra features you have it now that we can't get it in the 4 GB RAM environment. No, I will be going to show it in the high-end environment. That's a later part. Right now is no need to worry about. Okay, the installation wise, till this point everyone is clear? Any question? What are the missing pieces in the last session? I just covered that. Now from there I'm going to continue now. I ask you to execute till this point now, and this is going to not executable. I mentioned that's what I mentioned in the last session. So if you all are done that one, now from here onwards, like what some examples, what is exactly OOZIE, how it is working, and what features it's supporting, we'll be going to say now. Okay, fine then. So let me give the brief background about the OOZIE and what we need to learn from the OOZIE now. So OOZIE is a workflow scheduler. OOZIE is a workflow scheduler. So what is the purpose of this OOZIE is, if you want to schedule some jobs in a periodical manner, maybe like what every 1 hour, every day, every month, or every certain interval wise, okay, or maybe event wise. Scheduling, when we talk about time based, event based, and resource based. So Hadoop scheduling is only like what resource based, but event based, time based, who is helping us like what OOZIE. Using the OOZIE like what we can able to time based in a particular interval wise, like what I want to run my job, I can able to. Event wise, when this is happen, then only do it, otherwise don't do it. That is what called as an event based. It's not a time here. Okay, if it is happen, then do it. Okay, example is like what bus, if you talk about bus, like what generally every bus will be like what certain time will be there, but on the time, whenever the time is happen, like what it automatically bus won't go. The reason is like what people has to enter into the bus. Okay, so then only all the seats has to fill, then the bus will go. So event, what is the meaning of event is like what, if something is happened, then only do it. It's not about time. So people are entered or not like this. People has to enter, then only to leave. Okay, like that. Event based, time based, small gap will be there. OOZIE support the both the things. So whenever we are going with the OOZIE, we can do single job. So there is a terminology called workflow. Under this workflow, we can configure a single job, and also we can configure a multiple jobs, and these jobs are can be dependent or independent also. So generally the job workflow, how it looks like what you will be having a starting. This can take like what two parallel things. This can work like what independently. Again, next one, maybe you want to combine them and you want to execute the final one. This is entire flow is called as a workflow. So first I'll be going to showcase like what how individually going to work now. Let's talk about like what how individually we can run this. Then after that like what how can we combine like what all these things into a single. Then after that like what this entire workflow how we can run like what every 1 hour or every minute or every day like what. So these are the three main use cases what we need to learn in this session today. Okay, one is individual job, how it is going to work. The second one is like what multiple jobs, how it is going to work, or individual or single like what multiple like what how frequently we need to run. That's for the three scenarios. I'll be going to start one after other. So writing all these things manually it is a little hard now, but we have a tools are available. HUE one tool is there. With the help of that tool like what we can easily build it. I'll be going to show you how to build automatically later. Today's session manual approach we are talking about. It's a little hard, but don't worry much on that. So is everyone is clear the terminology of what is workflow and what is job? Any question on that? Job is it can be a map reduce job or hive job or pick job, anything. No, workflow is like what multiple combination of like what multiple jobs or one or more jobs is called as a workflow. So that workflow we need to trigger it. So how to configure this workflow? Only learning the OOZIE. It's not more than that. Okay, let's start that first with some notes. Let's quickly look at the OOZIE information, then we'll proceed now. So initially who developed this OOZIE is like what Yahoo people. The main purpose of this OOZIE is like what workflow scheduler. What is workflow here is like what chaining of the jobs, like a diagram I have shown like what chaining of the jobs is called as a workflow, and scheduling this workflow is like what based on the time or event. Two ways we can do it now, time based we can do or event based we can do it. In OOZIE primarily which are the files we are going to look at like what there is an app folder. Under this app, primary file is like what job.properties. What is this job.property contains like what job information, complete job details will be available now. And the next important file like what how the job need to execute. This only contains like what is the job details only, but how it need to execute like what that information will be available under the workflow.xml. What to start, what to end, what to execute, everything will be available. These are the two primary files. Apart from this, whenever we are writing this like what there are other information also required. Suppose you are running a MapReduce program through this one. Okay, we need a lib folder. Inside the lib folder like what corresponding jar file is required, which program you are running it now. Maybe if you are running a high query, some file with the .h or .q or .hql, whatever it may be, some extension wise some query file is required now. If you are running a pig script like what .pig file now, if you're running a shell script like what .sh, so under this app folder like what you have to place it like this. But what is the purpose of this coordinator? Okay, so this coordinator is like what whatever the workflow you're defining, you want to run this workflow like what every certain interval, every day, every 1 hour, every month, like what then we need. This is not a mandatory file again. Okay, which is the mandatory files like what first two things. And the skeleton of the this workflow file is like what it will be look like this. This is the skeleton now, so it will be going to change the this part only. What it is going to change in this file like what only this one. The remaining entire part in this file like what as it is like this. Workflow app, name of the workflow will be there now. You can define any name here. Then after that start, action, kill, end. So these are the four actions you will be going to see it now. Start is like what as I mentioned, like what need to be started now. Start will be the action will be going to depend, that action is going to trigger now. And whenever this action is like what completed, whenever this action is completed, there are two scenarios will be there. The action can be success or action can be failure. Okay, if it is success, it is going to call the end. If it is error, it will be going to call the fail. There are two scenarios to the action. Whatever the action is there, it can be a success or it can be failure. Any one of them, it can be intermediate now. Okay, so if it is success means like what, it will be going to call end. If it is any error like what, it is going to call fail. So now you can see fail, what it is doing like what, it is going to kill the job. What success it is doing like what, it is calling the end. That means like what, it is going to stop it. Like that, like what, the skeleton will be there now. So what is the main change you will be going to see like what, this dotted part now. Whatever this dotted part is there, this action can be a map reduce action or hive action or pig action, spark action, anything else, anything we can write here in between this dotted place now. The only change is like what, this dotted part only. Let me erase once again, which is frequently going to change like what, this part. I just written as a Kalyan action. It can be a map reduce action or hive or peak or scoop or anything. That's what we'll be going to see it in the next coming part now. Just a second. So is this point everyone is clear now? So the learning of the OOZIE is only like what, configuring this. So right now we are talking about auto configure manually, but I'll be going to show you like what simple drag and drop approach, like what this data is automatically going to fill also. But let's see the manual approach today. Any question before I enter into that part?
Question, sir. These are dependent and independent jobs are actually. What is the difference, sir?
You're talking about the job.
Yes, yes, sir. A dependent and independent.
See, if you say this one, this is one action, and this action is like what, triggering the next two actions, and these two actions are, they are independent.
Okay.
This is running something, this is running something, but dependent. What is this one is like what, this is depend on these two outputs. This is a dependent job. This is independent. This is dependent. If you want to run this one, these two has to complete first. So we can define like what, independent and dependent jobs inside the your workflow. Okay.
Bigger, but the first two are also dependent on the first one. This one.
It's dependent on this one, but they can run independently.
Yes.
This guy is not depend on this one. This guy is not depend on this one, but this guy is depend on these two. These two are depend on this one, but these two are not dependent. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Individually, they are independent. Yes.
Individually they can run it, but this guy cannot run individually. It need to be completed this and as well as this also. Then only
Yes.
it can run. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Fine. So let's see the next point, like what, there are some more properties inside this file, like inside this file and also inside this file we'll be going to define now. So what are the properties you come across, like what, one is workflow dot application path, OOZIE workflow dot application path. What is exactly purpose of this property is like what, defining the location of the workflow XML file. And second one is OOZIE coordinator dot application path. This will be like what, coordinator.xml file where exactly we are configuring now. So generally we keep it under the app folder, maybe under app folder like what, some other folder you created, or maybe like what, some other file name you given, like what, that particular time these two properties will help us to like what, identify that one. And also whenever we are defining this action, like what, there are some pre-activities will be there. Suppose example is, if you're running a MapReduce program, what is the pre-action? Anyone remember?
Mm-hmm.
What is the pre-action for MapReduce program to run? We talked about this. When MapReduce program will fail? If output is already exist, then the MapReduce program will going to run.
This output directory should not be there.
That's a pre-action, correct? So
Yes,
those
yes.
type of pre-actions like what you will be writing under the prepare tag. So inside this, we will be going to write a prepare tag. Now this prepare tag mainly like what for the job level. For that job level, any pre-actions you want to do it now, you will be going to do. And also there is a property, this one. This property by default false will be there. Uses system lib path. Okay, but if it is false, you can run MapReduce program through OOZIE. But if you want to run Hive or Pig or Scoop or Spark, anything like what, this property is mandatorily set as a true now. Otherwise, like what, those libraries won't be available in the class path to continue now. So make sure that if you are running any Hadoop ecosystems, we need to update this property true in the job.property file. By default, OOZIE runs with the older version of the MapReduce, MRV1. But whenever we are configuring in the OOZIE file like what, you need to add these two properties, mapred.reducer, mapred.mapper, both the new API. If you write as a new API is true, by default this will be false. Okay, if you write as a true, then it will be going to run in MRV2. Otherwise, it will try to run in a MRV1 code. You have to write a MRV1 code. Right now, we write an MRV2 code, not V1 code. No. Make sure that like what, this property should be there as part of this action information. Okay, and also finally like what, how frequently people will define the time interval like what with the cron expression. If you already worked on like what any scheduler, you might know about these expressions now. There's a cron expression, star, 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 star. What is the meaning of this one is like what? Every year, every month, every day, every hour, every minute, you're asking to run this one. Maybe if you give like what, like this, then at this particular year, month, date, hour, minute, like this. So there is a meaning for every digit having a meaning will be there. I've given some example here. So cron expressions, you have to explore it a little bit, and this can be done easily through automated tool, whatever I mentioned also. I'll be going to showcase it once again. Okay, so if you have just basic idea on these properties, let's dig into the actual examples. Whenever we are running a OOZIE, make sure that we need to run the job history server. Yesterday I have restarted my system now. So then Hadoop process on it running it now. I will have to start the job history server. Make sure that you need to run the job history server to take track of your history server now. Now hope every process is running what is required for us. Then what we are going to do is we'll be going to take an example. Let me run this command. I'll explain this command also. It will take some time. Okay. So my job is submitted. In this UI, we can able to see the status of the job. So here when the job is running it like what you can see running or failed or succeeded, the job information is going to show it to you. If anything wrong in our environment like what, this will be going to fail. So let me explain the command, and meanwhile, and once the issue is like what success or failure, we'll come to this point once again. So this command as equivalent to Hadoop jar command. This command as equivalent to Hadoop jar. So OOZIE job. Then after that, like what, which URL you are running a OOZIE now, this particular URL, we need to provide that information. And the config is the primary, it is pointing to the job.properties. Right now, where exactly this job.property file is there, under the OOZIE home, examples app, one of the app is MapReduce. Let's dig into that folder. OOZIE home, examples, apps. We have multiple apps are there in this map reduce, and which is the file like what job.properties. So this will be like what mainly provide the details about the job. So what are the details we are providing here, like what name node, where it is running it, resource manager, where it is running it, and what is the queue name and path of the examples. Now the primary property is this one. What is this one is like what workflow.xml file name. Okay, whenever we are going with this property, you can write like this, you can also write like this, both will be going to work. Okay, so writing a workflow.xml file name is not a mandatory, but when you are going to write that one is, suppose if you write like this is your workflow file name. The file name is not workflow.xml, the file name is something else, then mandatory you have to provide. If you don't provide this path, it is always expect like what inside this the file name is like what workflow.xml. That's a way how exactly OOZIE implemented now. Providing this name is not a mandatory. If there is a different name, you have to provide it now. Otherwise, you don't need to worry about this. And the remaining other details, whatever it is there, like what all these are maybe utilizing here or maybe inside this. Right now, if you look at like what this property is in from here, this is username. This example root is using from here. What about this and this and this, like what? So these are all used under this folder. Under this folder, we have a file called workflow.xml. Under this file, like what it will be defined. Okay, we'll just walk through one by one now. This is a license. We don't have to worry about this license. You can remove it also. Generally, for the standards like what any Apache solutions like what they provide the license. Who developer this one is like what these people like that. Okay, so then after that, like what workflow app will be there. We need to provide the name of the workflow. It's same as like what MapReduce job. How we define like what here we are going to define the workflow name. Any name you can write here. Then start some name you have to write. This should be unique inside this workflow. Your names cannot be duplicate. Okay, the starting will be like what mr node, and then it will look for like what any action name is mr node is there, that will try to execute. Now which one is going to execute like what mr node. So this is the MapReduce properties. So till here is the MapReduce properties. Based on this MapReduce properties, it will try to run. If it is success, it will call end. If it is failure, it will show this message to you. Right now, what we define under the MapReduce is like what resource manager. This is the details are coming from here, and also defining the name node, prepare tag. In this prepare tag, can you please tell me what I am trying to doing by looking at this? Quick answer.
Output data directly.
Yes, that's a prepare action, correct? In MapReduce program, output data should not be exist now. Okay, what are the output data is there? I'm deleting it. Then after that, to run MapReduce program, what are the basic details are required? Like what queue name, which queue you want to run it now, what is your mapper class, what is your reducer class, and what is the input path, what is the output path. These are the primary things. Okay, right now this example is driven with the mrv1 code now. That's the reason like in mrv1 we have a support of defining a number of mappers also along with the reducers. We can define. This is the outdated approach now, but these examples are like what they. But where is this program? Sample mapper, sample reducer. The answer is under this MapReduce, there is a lib folder is there. Inside this lib jar file is there now. Inside this jar file, if you look at that package org Apache OOZIE examples, you will able to see sample mapper and sample reducer. That's what I mentioned, like what the jar file should be there inside the lib folder. Then after that, like what whatever the mapper information, reducer information, you have to pick from there. I'll show you same example for our word count example. What are the word count example we written now? Same word count example we will write in this approach now. That's a custom example. This is what right now existing OOZIE examples I'm showing it now. And like this, any MapReduce program, word count program or grep job, whatever you written like what, you can just define it. And if you trigger with this command, the job will be going to run. Maybe success or failure depends on the message it is going to show. Right now, my job is failed. And if I click on this, You can see the status, it is scaled. If I click on this, there is an option. If you look at like what last one, job DAG. DAG means direct acyclic graph. If I click on this, it will show you currently whatever we discussed, the same information. Start. This is the start. Start is calling the MR node. And once it is called MR node, either it can be failure or it can be success. Right now, which one is like what, red color with which direction it went, like what, failure now. Okay, and we want to see the logs, like what generally it will show here. So any issue, anything is there, we can able to look at. Right now, the reason why it is not working, like what, there is some jar files. This is an integration issue again. Now there are some jar files like what, which are not available under the OOZIE class path. That's the reason it is failure. It's a simple hack is there to solve this problem also. I'll just show you right now. So generally in real environment, these all will be taken care by the distributions. Now currently there is a bug I'm fixing right now. How to fix this one is under share hadoop map reduce. These are the map reduce, like what are the jars are there. These jars supposed to pick now. Right now it is not picking. What I will do it like what, I'll copy all this into a common folder. This is not the right way, but this is the only solution right now we have to solve this problem. Once you do this one, just execute once again your job now. This time job is going to success now. Only the missing thing is like what, class not found. No class def found. Okay, so why it is not found, like what, the jar is like what, expecting in one of the file here now, that is not available under the class path. Class path means whenever you're running any program like what, Java program, so that program like what, to run it, like what, some dependencies will be there in the class path. If the dependencies are not there in the class path, it won't work now. Usually it should pick from here. There is a bug, because of that it is not picking now. So alternative hack I given, like what, copying under the common. Anything you copied in the common, it will be automatically taken now. Okay, this is a small hack now. I did, now it will work. Right now you can see it is running. When it is running, it like what, the job, if you look at now, you will see different color now. So this yellow color right now indicate for you like what, it is running state. So there are few colors like yellow, red, green, gray color. Okay, yellow is for running, red is for fail, green is for like what, success, gray color is like what, yet to, that is not yet started now, yet to. Current running is like what, yellow color now. It's a single job for us now. That's the reason we are not able to see gray color now. I'll show you the gray color in a other use case. So if it is success or failure, by looking at this diagram, we can able to answer it. Still going on. Either it has to go here or here. One of them has to be done. It takes some time. Let me open other URL to verify that. Anyone remember resource manager URL? In yarn class, I talked about that. What is the URL for resource manager? Port number. Don't say no. We're almost end of the course. You're not practicing, because as a daily, people are going to do these things in real time. That means if you are not practicing it, then you don't remember. 8088. Okay, here the application information is going to come now. Right now our application is running state, finished. Okay, it is already finished. Then you can also see the status here, green color. Previous job is failed. Is the right now job. I'm able to say like what, it is finished now. Okay, with that I can conclude it like what, this is also done. like that, like what the OOZIE information, whatever we define, like what properly the environment is there, it will be going to work. Current environment, like what we can able to run the MapReduce job now. And Hive and other things, like what we have integration issues are there, so compatibility issues are there, so that we don't know, but conceptually how to do it now, I'll show it to you. So is everyone is clear till this point now how to run a job? Any question? And complete job details we can able to fetch it from here also. This is what XML file information, whatever we define, we can see the log information, like what if it is success or failure, those details we can able to see here now. And complete job, when it is started and at what time it is running it now, those details will be. So once you refresh the screen, you will see in all jobs like what succeeded or not. So font is little low. Succeeded or not, you can able to see this. Currently it is showing in a GMT. You want to change it to like what IST, you can change it now. Go to settings, look for IST, you can look for IST Calcutta, whatever it may be. Now come back and you can see this will be changed to IST time zone. 737, 745, like this. This 737 is failed, 745 is success. Like this, if I want to run one more that is related to the Hive now, let's run. If you understand the first example, remaining other examples are like what 1 or 2 line changes only. Command wise, there is no change. Command wise, only we provide the job.property file for which application you are running it to. Right now I'm running like what Hive 2 application. Similarly, Pig application or MapReduce application or Spark application. Just only this particular place, the folder is right now changing. Remaining entire command is as usual. Okay. So is it running or not? You can verify it here. This is the running state. And how it is defined, you can see it like what start. It is calling the Hive 2 node and maybe success or failure. What is the job details, like what you can see here. Hive 2 node. We are defining a Hive action. So previously MapReduce means MapReduce tag is there. Now Hive is a Hive tag will be there now. For Hive, are we defining like what mapper class, reducer class means? No. Hive we don't define that. Hive what we define it like what path of the your file now. Okay, you see these are the details about like what for Hive now. Okay, you will be defining like what your JDBC URL which you need to connect it, and a script file which script you need to execute. For this script, some input path, output path is required. Now we are passing it, and let me showcase it in local. So this is the starting file. And why we are writing this? Anyone remember that point I mentioned? What is the purpose of this property I mentioned now? To run any Hadoop ecosystems. Hive or pick anything like what this property is required. Otherwise, it won't pick the data. And here, why I was not written workflow XML file? Is it a mandatory? It's not mandatory, correct? So when the file name is workflow XML file, that is not a mandatory. If anything else, then only you have to define it now. Otherwise, you don't need to define like what that file information. And under workflow XML file, you define the details about the your Hive node start and what is the exactly prepare tag now. Prepare, I'm deleting something, creating it, and configurations like what queue name is defined, and script. What is the script we need to execute like what? This is a script. And this is a simple script now, dropping the table and creating a table, and for that creating a table input is required, and after that like we're inserting the data, output is. These two are the parameters we are passing from here. In a param we are passing it now. Same way if you are going for the pig also, it's 90% the same code now. If you go for the pig also, same thing will be there. Pig also will be having some script now, input output will be there, and when we are passing it like what, that we will pass it as a param. Here also we'll be going to pass it as a params. But difference is like what? This is a pig tag. If it is a hive means this is a hive tag. If it is a map reduce means map reduce tag. Like that only we will be going to write. Generally we don't write all this also in real time. This complete every entire XML file we can automatically generate it also. But right now with the static examples we are going. Okay, is all are clear this? Let's see the job is success or failure also. This job is success. If it is success, you can able to see like what? Green color. Right now pig wise some issue is there in environment. No, I'm not running that pig. If I run it like what, it will fail also. I know that. Okay, but I'll show you like what, how to run complete workflow is one more use case. Before I go with any general questions you have it, please let me know. I'll clarify it. Any question? Individual job, how to write like what I have seen now. Similarly, let me show you like what multiple things how to do it now. Okay, so this is an application. I'm just showing it like what, how first it look like. Code is very simple. You can see now. The workflow is very bigger. Right now, if you look at in this like what start, this is completed, this is completed, and this is right now it is starting. This is yet to start. The gray color, if you look at it, yet to. If I refresh it, it will show you that also. It is running still. Just in a few seconds gap only I have triggered. No, that time it is like what, it's yet to start. Right now, this entire below flow is going to fail. The problem is like what, if this is completed and this is completed, then only it can run. Right now we have environment issue, due to that like what, these are going to fail. If it is fail like what, it is directly going to call the fail. Okay, so this workflow will tell you like what exactly it need to start. So I'm reducing the resolution to convey the details. First start, then if it is success it will call. If it is failure, it will come to fail here, it stop there. Maybe this guy is success, it will come here now. Again it will be going to start these two. If this is success, it will call here. If this is success, it will call here. If any one of this fail also, it will be going to call the fail, it will stop. Okay, if any one of them is failed also, any one of them is failed also, it is going to stop. Assume it if both are success, then it will call this, then this is going to call here. If success, this is calling now, otherwise it will fail now. Again assume it if success now, then this is calling it like what, maybe this one, or maybe if something condition is not met. Decision is like what, kind of switch case now. Okay, if else condition, if something is matching it, it will call, otherwise it is going to stop. Assume it some condition is matched, then it is coming here. Success means this, failure means this. So all failures are going to stop at one place now. Like finally end will be only one only. End will be only one only. So fail can be any place, it can reach the fail. End is only. Mostly the job is already failed now. If I refresh it, you see the red colors. You see, because of the environment wise some issues are there, due to that like what, this is fail now, and all are went to final state is like what, fail. The reasons we want to see it like what, the error log, or maybe like what, the job log. If you say get log, it will give it to you. Here it will tell you like what reason why it exactly failed. With error message will be there. No, only if you want to see the error details, get error log. Right now the problem is like what, some configuration issues are there. Due to that configuration issues like what, which are not working with the current version of the OOZIE. Due to that the job is failed. From where it is failed like what, from here onwards it is failed. So how this workflow is defined, it's very simple. Instead of saying as an end immediately, we will call like what, next like that. So this is the starting. Let me show you through diagram also. Start calling the cleanup node, and this cleanup node is like what, doing some HDFS action. If success means fork node, otherwise fail. That's what this diagram. Success means fork node, fail means it is calling the fail node. And again in success call, what fork node is doing is like what? There are two parallel tasks here now. One is big node, other one is streaming node. That's what you can see here, like what this guy is doing a two parallel task now. And again individually what need to define, like what we will define big node, you will define the entire big action. It may be success or failure. Okay, similarly streaming node also, it may be success or failure. If it is success, like what join node is calling the MR node. So assume it, these two are success, then this guy is calling the MR node. If fail means both are calling the fail node. Then after that, like what MR node is doing is like what, doing some MapReduce action here now. Again some MapReduce logic is written, and if it is success, like what decision node, otherwise fail node. Same as like what success or failure. Again this decision node is a switch case. What is expectation, like what I'm looking for a particular path. If that path is exist, I'm asking to call this one, otherwise like what directly go to the end. Why? Because in this SDFS node I'm doing a move action. Move cannot work without the path node. That's the reason I'm verifying that path is exist or not. If the path is exist, then I'm asking like what call this, otherwise don't call it. And maybe again here it is calling time, move is not able to success, then it is going to fail. That fail message is going to give it. So only end we define only one place only. We don't define end in multiple places. Okay, we'll define end in only one place. End is the last. So to reach the end, n number of actions, like what you can connect with one action to other action in a parallel, or maybe like what in a sequential also. So that's what exactly how to define a multiple jobs in a workflow. So now the next use case I want to show it, like what, how to write our own, how to run that one in a periodical base now. That's what is the next use case. I might need 15 more minutes for that. Before I talk on that, any questions, any doubts? Okay then. So let me showcase it, like what some custom examples what I have written. So I have shared one folder called Kalyan examples. This is a folder, and in this folder, like what some applications I have written. So single job, how to run in a time base, how to run an event based now. But at least like what you get a background idea is sufficient here now. So in single job, what exactly written? Lib folder. Inside this lib folder, we written a MapReduce programs. What are the MapReduce programs we written, like what? Those are available here. Okay. And main file is like these two things. Job.property file, like what we're defining a job information here. And workflow file, we will defining like what, the workflow path. So in this file, why I written these 2 points? Anyone remember that point now? Why I written these two? What is the reason? Please quickly. Why we written this? Is everyone is there?
Yes, yes.
The name itself you can able to answer. Why are you taking time? New API, MRV2. So we written a programs in our MapReduce program is what? MRV2, not in MRV1. That's the reason like what we have to define these details now. The remaining is like what, whatever the mapper class, reducer class, K2 V2, K3 V3, those details and input path, output path we just define. Success means and fail means fail. This is what single job. Okay, but you want to run this one in a periodical fashion, not in a one time. Okay, so then we need to introduce the coordinator.xml. This coordinator.xml file will talk about like what, how frequently you want to run. I want to run start and end like what, in a periodical fashion. How frequently you can define it here. let me reduce this number to 2 minutes now. Okay, every 2 minutes I want to run this job. Okay, so 2 minutes, like what it will go. So which workflow you are running it, like what workflow.url, where is this details is provided, like what job.property file. In job.property file, which workflow I'm running it, like what word count workflow I want to run. From when to when, start and end I have given. So this timestamp you need to change it to today's timestamp, 22. What is the month? 12. Date is 2. Time is right now 8. Let's say 8:10. I might take till that time now. Some discussion till 9:10. So this is the timestamp wise, like what start and end. Between this, how frequently I want to run, like what every 2 minutes I mentioned. Okay, so now we have to put this information into a SDFS. You have to put this information into a SDFS. That I will do it. And similar to this, if you want to do in an event base, if you want to do it in event based, like what small change will be there in this XML file. So the start, end, frequently, everything will be there now. But what is exactly event based is like what? So maybe like what between these intervals, the data might be arrived, then only trigger. The data is not arrived here. The data is arrived here, then only trigger. So instead of triggering like what 3 times, it will trigger only 2 times only. That's what we will be going to configure now. So we will be capturing the input events and we will be generating the output events. That's the terminology. You will see data in events, data out events, like this. Okay, look at here now in the data set. I will be generating it. I'm looking for like what my input events and output events. Input events are in this particular folder and output events are in this particular folder I want to write. So if anyone generating the data in this folder, I'll be picking the data. I'll be generating the output in this particular folder. These are generally like what in a frequently the data generating in a folder now. We will read that one. We will going to construct into output now. So how frequently we need to take this data inputs? How frequently we need to run the output, that is output events. We will define only this extra information will be there, other than like what the previous example. In the previous example we don't define that. Okay, so this information still exists here also. This information still exists here. Only extra information we define, like what how frequently we take the input events, how frequently we take the output events too. That details only like what we'll be defining it now here. So when the data this folder is exist, then only run the event. Otherwise don't run the event now. That's what we will talk about here now. Okay, so we are not executing this, but I'm just letting you know like what how the event concept will work, like what. So if the data is exist, then only it will run. It's not like what you define every 1 minute, means like it won't run every 1 minute. Okay, in that 1 minute time, if the data is there, then only it is going to trigger. Otherwise it is not going to trigger now. And also instead of writing like this, instead of writing like what chord, minutes, hours, days, like what, we will be having a concept called cron expressions. You can just Google it also. So maybe if you want to explore something like what, there are some free websites will be there. How cron expressions will be going to define it also. Cron expressions. Like a regex expression, cron. This is very simple than regex expression. So you see, this star means everything now. Okay. So how frequently we want to run. So I have said like what some tool will be there. The tool is also going to provide this interface like this. You see this one. Okay, so this will be giving it like what I have selected now. Now if I remove this, you can see it like what, that way it is going to be driving now. The next one is like what, minutes wise information. Next one is hours wise, how frequently the hours now. Next one is like what, in a specific day, every day you want, or like what, or Monday or Tuesday, some specific day wise. You can choose the day wise also. Based on that, it is going to come. Then after that, like what, month, every month or in a specific month. No, I want only these months now. Then after that, like what, every day or every year, like this. So for everything is like what, that expression is going to change. This expression is going to change. So it will be seconds, minutes, hours, days, month, year, like this. So this expression is called as a con expression. So OOZIE exactly is supporting this. So whenever you are writing it like what, the star and the question mark and hyphen range will be there. This hyphen is like what, 0 to 5. Comma is like what, only individual. No. Hyphen means like what, range. No. Maybe like what, 1 to 15 I want, 1 hyphen 15. Instead of saying 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma like this, 1 hyphen 15 like this. Con expressions will be there. So these expressions we don't need to by heart it if we use the automated tool. No? But as a learner, it's good practice to like what, do it. If an interviewer asks like what, how to write an expression for like what, every year August 15th, like what, morning 6 o'clock, how to write that one. So then you should know how to write the expression for that. That knowledge, please try to build it. No, so that is the one thing only. Just want to inform it here now. So right now, like what, we prepared the data. Let me put this data into HDFS and we will trigger it. We are at 8, 9, 8, 10 now. I given a timestamp is at what time? I forgot. Yeah, I given a timestamp it like what, 8:10. Okay, let me put this data into HDFS. After like what, 1 or 2 minutes, I will trigger my job now. Okay, I need to place this into here first. Copy this into OOZIE home and then use the put command as per the command structure. This won't take much time. It's a small data. Now I'm at 8:11. Okay, so the point what I want to bring it here, let me explain first because we don't get that much time in the running time now. So the job I ask you to run at 8:10, but now the time is at 8:11. Okay, it might be coming 8:12, assume it at 8:12 maybe. Okay, at 8:12 I trigger the job. So this job supposed to run at 8:10, but now we are at 8:12, assume it. Okay, what happened is the job will immediately trigger, and after that like what, 8:12 job is going to trigger. After that like what, 8:14 job is going to, because every 2 minutes I ask you to run. Okay, but assume it, this job and this job are able to complete at 8:13 only. It won't happen that one, but I'm just okay. If it is completed, it will wait for 1 minute, exactly at 8:14 only it will run. Maybe if this is also already crossed now, then 8:16, it will wait for 8:16. This is also done, 8:20, like this. Let's see now, we will run the job and we will see it. Right now at 8:10, 8:12, 2 jobs supposed to run because right now we are at 8:12 now. Okay, let me run that job. I'm running my cron job. So immediately you will see one job in the OOZIE because that's supposed to run at 8:10. Okay, this is running it now. This supposed to run at 8:10, but now it is running it now. Whenever this is completed, immediately to run 8:12 job also because already 8:12 is crossed. Okay, where we can see this information is coordinator jobs. If you go with coordinator jobs, like what, this details will show it to you. At 8:10, 8:12, 8:14, 8:16, 8:18. Right now, which job is running it like what? 8:10. So this is in a ready state. Okay, this is also in a ready state, not in waiting stage now. When it will be in a waiting stage, like what if the time is not reached? Suppose this is crossed the 8:14, then this is also will be in a ready state, it will go now. So, but this by keep on refreshing, we can able to feel that once it is completed, this will be going to enter into now. We have to wait. So maximum this job will take around 1.5 minutes like that. Okay. So due to that, like what, immediately we can't see the waiting stage. Maybe at 8:20 around like that, we will be going to see that one approximately. Okay. Now this is completed. Now this is running it. This is in a ready state. We are at 8:14 now. When this is also completed, 8:14 one is also going to start. Till I show you the main concept now, please hold any questions if you have it. I will take once I convey what I want to discuss, because otherwise we have to wait for extra half an hour like that.
So is one general question.
That's what I mentioned, Srikanth. I said wait for the questions.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah. Till I convey, wait for the question, because I want to convey this. Otherwise, we have to wait extra half an hour. I don't want to do that. Okay. Just time will be there. If I miss that, I have to wait again. Let's keep on everyone look at this information till I say we are done. Okay, this is control. It's a execution flow. Now this is now we are at 8:15, 8:14 going on. 8:14 one is running it. If suppose if it is complete less than 8:16, then it won't be possible. At 8:16, at 8 till 8:20, we have to wait. Whenever this becoming 8 or 6, this will be also going to a ready state. Right now, this is in a waiting. Few more seconds are left. You can see it in a second here. Few more seconds left to enter into a ready state. Now you can see ready state. So this will be the ready state now, but not run. Why? It is complete, and all it can run now. This job logically it will take around like what 1 minute plus. That's the reason like what 2-minute interval is like what little small gap we will find it now. Now this is completed. Now it is started. Mostly it will be like what finish it in less than 80. That's what I'm hoping. If not, till 8:20 we have to wait. I'm assuming less than at 8:18 it will finish it. That's what as per the time interval. What is the gap we are seeing it now? Hoping. Otherwise 2 more minutes extra. One more minute left. Yeah, please everyone look at it. Are completed. Now we 8:18 at 8. Now 8:18 is not happened. We have still 40 more seconds are left now. Okay, exactly 8:18. This job will be going to running state now. That's what I want to convey to you. Okay, please look at now. Still it is in the waiting stage only. 8:18. 5 more seconds. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Now it is. You can see running. So this is what we want. Okay, once it is completed, next Previously, what happened, like what we run it at 8:12, has to run 8:14, because these are all like what already back end, okay, which is already past the time. It has to run. It won't wait for two minutes now. Now this job will wait for 2 minutes now. But previously already the late job not going to wait. It is completed now. It is late jobs are not wait again. Once it will be going to run immediately. The whichever is like what already wasted the time now. Like that, like what the OOZIE will take care of it automatically. This time management now. Like if you enter into the bus stop, like what one bus is late, the second trip immediately is going to start. It's not going to wait again. The reason is like what it has to. Otherwise, like what it will become further becoming late. Like what the OOZIE jobs also like what this is late means immediately it will run this. Immediately it will run till it will be reached the on time. Till it reaches the on time, like what it will going to keep on going to. Now this might like what this will wait for 8:20 now. Like that the jobs will be like what maintained now. Okay, so now you have any questions you can ask me, because this is what I want to convey, just shown to you. Now you can ask any question.
This is a general question, sir. Actually, so for scheduling, do we use this OOZIE as well as Airflow? Both are the main for the same purpose.
OOZIE and as well as
Airflow, sir, Airflow.
oh the airflow and all this both are intentionally same only. Management, this workflow management.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, fine. So please everyone try till this part now. Okay, the next session we will talk about like what. So the other topics which I need to cover still for you is major topics are taken. Streaming is the one we are not discussed now. Streaming I need to talk about, and basics of Spark and Scala project session. So these are the three pending topics. We have it now. Streaming, basics of Spark and Scala, and project session. So these are the topics like what in the next sessions we will be going to talk about one after another. So mostly by 10th or 11th or the maximum by 13th. I can say like what the batch will be like what max by 13th or 14th it will be. If any doubts, anything is also, please plan it now. I'll be going to accommodate the day for you. You can tell me like some day I'll give you the day like what completely for taking questions also. I'm okay with that. Make sure that like what utilize the time refreshing the knowledge, and so max by 14th. It won't be this much time, but I'm just giving a deadline like a max date now. If any reason like what it is extended, it will go till that one. That's the plan for the course now. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thanks everyone. Bye.